Yeah, I don't know, T. I gotta go. I gotta do this thing. All right. Come by the Bing later. Hey, yo. Hey, you know what day it is? Yeah, it's Thursday. Hey, you know what time it is? Yeah, it's 7 o'clock. That means it's the Tampa Native Show. Tonight, you know what these boys are going to be talking about? Yeah, January 19th. A lot of crazy things happened on the 19th. You know what? January 19th, 1809. Edgar Allan Poe was born. You know that? January 19th, 1915. They invented the first neon tube, man, for signage. Yeah, Johnny Sinchet's going to be mad about that. January 19th, 1961. The first episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show was filmed. And January 19, 1977, they say it snowed in Tampa. You know what I say? Forget about it. The Tampa Native Show starts right now. Well, let me call T back.
Otra vez. Come here. Let me say something. I remember Tampa, the way she used to be, the places we would run to, the faces we would see. Yes, I remember Tampa, those precious memories, a city rising on the move, a simple yet progressive groove. I remember Tampa, and she remembers me. Yeah. She remembers me.
Welcome to the Tampa Native Show. Stay tuned now for the fastest 60 minutes in cable broadcast history. Live from the studios at TBCN, the home of the Tampa Native Show. Join your hosts, Mario Nunez, the 15-Minute Girl, and Steve Canella, as they celebrate growing up in Tampa. From Shock Armstrong to Shakey's Pizza, from Braddock Street to Buffalo Avenue. Get ready to call in and tell us your stories, because sharing your memories has never been this much fun. And now, Mario Nunez, the 15-Minute Girl, and Steve Canella.
She remembers me.
Hey, yo! You know what day it is? Of course you do. It's Thursday and it's 7 o'clock. And if it's 7 o'clock and it's Thursday, this has to be the Tampa Native Show. Hi, everybody. My name is Mario Nunez, and I'd just like to let you know the Tampa Native Show is the only show of its kind in the United States, in the world, in the universe. And I'm seated alongside my broadcast partners,
Steve Canella,
a.k.a. Tampa Stefanucci. And right here to my left,
Sally Nunez,
a.k.a. our 15-Minute Girl. And as it was already disclosed by that Italian fella apparently at the beginning, we're going to be talking about all things January 19th, 1977 tonight. And that's a date, as my co-host and partner in crime, Stefanucci Tampa,
that will live in infamy.
Yeah, that will live in infamy.
In Tampa.
Infamy. Infamy. And it was, because you know what? Everybody remembers where they were that day. Yeah. Because something happened here that day that very, very rarely happens. In fact, it happened, and it snowed on that day all the way as far south as Miami, and there was snowfall recorded in the Bahama Islands. So it wasn't just Tampa. It was
everybody got a little share.
Everybody got their fair share of the white stuff.
And well, you know, not only did they know what they were doing, but they knew exactly where they were, what they were doing, what time they did it. Right. I mean, every minute detail that you can think of.
We've got some wonderful emails, and we may be able to go ahead and pull up the Facebook page a little bit later on, because we had a couple of accounts. One gentleman whose name escapes me, Stevie will be able to pull that up in just a little bit, was talking about he was on his way home, traveling down West Hillsborough Avenue, when all of a sudden it began to snow, and he stopped at the stoplight there. It was somewhere around Hesperdes or Lois, and he said there was an afro-wearing black fella in the car next to him, and they kind of both stopped at 2 in the morning, and they looked at each other, and they got out of the car and started looking around. Wow. And then the next thing he knew, the fella's afro was all full of snow, and he said, "Hey man, look at your hair." And they all had a big laugh, and then they got in their cars.
That would make a great picture.
And they drove off, and they went home.
Wow.
Now, isn't that an indication
story.
of how cool Tampa was back then? This was 1977. So get ready, because when we ask for your calls tonight, we want you to call in and share your memories.
We're going to be giving away a couple of items tonight. Stevie, you've got one there next to you. Why don't you hold that
Let's
up?
do that.
And that's a Tampa Natives shirt, and it goes along with a Tampa Natives shopping bag. Hold that up. There you go. Tampa Natives shopping bag. And, of course, that's for the lucky Bolita drawing winner at the end of the show. And one more bonus gift tonight. We've got a
bonus gift.
Yeah, bonus gift.
All
bonus
right.
gift. We've got a Flavor of West Tampa T-shirt showing Sweet Bay as one of its sponsors. Of
It's
course,
a pretty T-shirt.
we found today that Sweet Bay is going to be closing a few of its shops.
Yeah.
And we're kind of
More than
sad.
a few.
We're kind of sad about that because Sweet Bay was formerly Cash and Carry, and most of us grew up either shopping at Cash and Carry, perhaps Pantry Pride,
Or working there.
or Publix. And in Steve's case, his first job came from Cash and Carry. So tonight, in honor of all things Sweet Bay and Cash and Carry, we're having a bonus prize, that shirt. Here's how you win that shirt. If you've been paying attention, in previous episodes, we've disclosed some facts, factoids, about Steve and about myself as they relate to Cash and Carry. In Steve's case, his first job, as we mentioned, was at Cash and Carry. We want you to call us and tell us what the number of that store was, if you remember. And in my case, there was something that I would throw myself on the floor in the middle of the aisle and pitch a fit. Doesn't that sound just like me?
Yes, it does.
Because we would not leave the store without my favorite treat. Something that I've been eating since I can remember, and the 15-minute
I
girl
can
will
attest to that.
I'm not doing it as much anymore because I'm watching what I'm consuming
hint
these
there.
days,
Yes.
and it breaks my heart because I still
I'm
love
sure
them
you will have them
to
again.
this day. In fact, I'll go so far as to tell you that I keep them in the fridge. Okay, that's it. That's enough. That's too much information.
TMI.
That being said, Stevie, do we have some emails that we want to cover? Any shout-outs that we want to give to our nice fans out there that are watching tonight?
Well, we do. In fact, our guest last week, Marilyn Messina.
Yes.
With Joe and Sons Olive Oil. By the way, I forgot to mention last week, if you go to tampanativeshow.com and click on our sponsors, right under the Joe and Sons logo, there's a link that we created for just for the Joe and Sons story. So it'll take you right to, actually, Dan Perez's site.
That's
Tampa
good.
Pics.
Yeah.
If you want to see more photos and read more about the Joe and Sons story, please go there. Also, Marilyn Messina is the one that actually put a nice post on Facebook. Do you want to read that, Mario?
I've got it right here in front of me. I'll be happy to read that.
Perfect.
She said to us this week, and this is a cute story that goes behind it. It says, thank you for putting that up there, Eric. Thank you for the opportunity to visit your show and talk about my family's history and how my family's original business has led to the current store we now have in South Tampa. Your enjoyment of the tasty nibbles I brought to the show resulted in quite a few phone calls asking for our oils and vinegars. These callers have now become new customers. You really do have a large audience out there watching you every week. Their response to my visit on your show is evidence of that. Thanks again.
Thank you,
And
Marilyn.
thank you,
How
Marilyn,
nice.
for those wonderful comments.
And for the wonderful treats.
As it turns out, because of our enjoyment of said treats on the show, Marilyn the next morning at the shop got several phone calls asking her if they could possibly cater their next event. And of course, Marilyn had to tell them, well, we don't really do catering per se. Those treats are just here for samples, as samples. So that's a testament to the fact that we make things look delicious here on the set. And it wasn't too difficult with those treats.
She made them delicious.
Because they were amazing. Thank you for that wonderful testimony.
Thanks, Marilyn.
You know, we do have another comment here on Facebook, which is great.
Go ahead.
It just came in, and this is from Kathy Noble Freeland. I'm going to read it right now. I was working at Busch Gardens at the time. The park was so empty, the gears on the rides froze up.
Oh, no.
And I was ready to get the snow chains on my car. Florida girl, a very historical day.
Absolutely. See, everybody remembers exactly where they
Exactly.
were and what they were doing. So tonight when you call in, and we're going to see if we can't light up the phones and get as many calls as we can, maybe set a new record, be sure that you tell us the Bolita number, and we'll try to not engage you in too much conversation. I say that lovingly because I'm the one that talks the most on the show, obviously.
Yes.
But Steve also is the first one that'll tell you, well, this week we changed this and we changed that about the website. Let's be honest. That's all Steve's handiwork.
It
man.
is.
So
IT department.
Steve is the IT department, so anything good with that page,
I'm me and he's we.
all the credit goes to Steve. So and he's been working real hard on that page this week.
Yeah.
And then you
A lot
guys
of changes.
should check it out.
We have a caller already.
We've got a couple of announcements, but we'll save those for a little bit later.
And we'll talk about our snow stories too.
Yeah, and guys,
Yeah.
please don't let me forget to make
Forget
these
those.
announcements because this is very, very important that I mention
Okay.
those. Okay, so let's go to our caller real quick.
Yes.
We'll come back and then we'll tell you our stories as they relate to the snow day.
That famous day.
Stevie?
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, how are you tonight? It's Dean in Tampa.
Hey, Dean.
Hi, Dean.
How are you?
How are you?
Good. One of my favorite subjects, the only day it actually really snowed in Florida.
Yes.
It absolutely snowed, and in some places there was accumulation. Where were you?
I was actually, we just moved from Clearwater when we were living over in Cape Tree and something like that, and we went over to Port St. Lucie. And we had a black cat that we had let out that morning, and when she came back, she wound up coming back and looking like she was literally
all white,
covered in, like, at one point I would think she had dandruff, and I was like, what's going on here? And she was covered in snow, so
wow.
it was amazing. And it's one of those few days that I still remember in Tampa. I mean, we have ice in our windshield every now and again.
Yeah.
But I do remember that day. I was on the the East Coast, and we had this snow, and we were scraping ice, and I used to live in Alaska, so I have experienced the snow and the ice. But there was, I think, of all the snow and ice that I've experienced, that was an amazing day, January 19th, 1977.
1977.
I bet it was weird for the animals too. Now that you were mentioning
for
your cat.
everybody. They mentioned Busch Gardens and the gears on the
Yeah.
machines freezing up. Imagine the animals there, and imagine the animals at Lowry Park as well.
Well, absolutely. The cat came in and looked at me and went, "What?"
Yeah, what's happening
What's
here?
going on?
What's going on?
It's like, what's going on here? I'm not quite used to this. I just want my friskies and go on. But that's one thing, folks. Even when we go through our winters like this, and it so brings back memories. And now we're experiencing this crazy hot January.
Yeah,
that
it's
we
weird.
kind of go through. I guess we call it. We get our winters like maybe a week, and then we kind of pass on. But if anything, take care of your animals that are outside.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
It's just nice to see them come in with snow, but when it gets cold, take care of them. And great show, guys, and hope you have a great night.
Thank you, Dean. Give us your Bolita number before you go now.
Oh,
Dean.
Dean, go ahead and email show@tampanatives.com and send in your Bolita number 1 through, we do 100?
1 through 75.
75.
Well, I thought we changed it. We're going to change it this week. But,
How are we going to do that?
well, we talked about that already.
Well, we don't have the Bolita balls.
Okay.
Right.
1 through 75 currently.
just gonna
Unless
make 'em-
somebody wily out there has a way of they can produce some little wooden balls. We need 76 through 100 to make it the official Bolita game. But we do a variation on that theme.
We do change it around.
We need to go ahead. There's the email address, show@tampanatives.com, and we also need to big shout out to our man Dan Perez, who's out there watching.
That's right.
Dan O. Thank you so
Dan.
much for we midweek. By Tuesday, we have a crazy idea about a graphic to start the show, like the one you saw tonight.
Yeah.
And I put in a request to Dan, and he gets on the computer, and through his Photoshop capabilities, he sends us something back, and he tweaks it for us if we need it tweaked. And these are his pictures as well. We've got some more photos that we're going to be showing.
Got a lot.
Dan, to know Dan is to love Dan, and to know Dan is to understand that morning when he went out to take these pictures, not only did he have the presence of mind to put his people in the photograph, because they were up and dressed as well.
Write the date on
But he actually had the date written in very clearly on the windshield, and ladies and gentlemen, not only the date, but what you can see there at the beginning there is that's the number 6. And then there's a 3 and a 0. He actually put the time.
Oh, wow.
So Dan put the 6:30 in the morning. Dan was out there.
Dan the man,
We can
as
relate.
we like to call him.
Very detailed.
Thank you,
Yes,
Dan, for
thanks,
not only your
Dan. We
photographs this
appreciate
week.
you.
And Stevie, we talked about that earlier. How about those photographs?
Yeah.
Well, they're fantastic. In fact, a lot of the photographs tonight we got from Dan Perez's website, from TampaPix.com.
Yeah.
A lot of the ones we're going to be showing tonight.
Did we
But,
get some others as well?
We did. We did from
good.
other
This
people.
would be a good time for me to cue you, as we talked in pre-production.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody?
Cue
Thank
Steve.
those people that sent us their
Oh,
pictures.
absolutely. We want to thank everyone who sent pictures this week. In fact, we had Dan Perez's, we had Andy Hughes, a librarian at the University of South Florida, Special Collections, Digital and Special Collections Department. Ben Crumpton, thank you.
Big Ben.
And also Lou and
Ben.
Debbie Romo. Remember Lou and Debbie Romo? They
Of
sent
course,
two-
Lou and Debbie. They
two
sent us some cool
photos.
pictures too.
They're
Those
great.
pictures will be coming up in just a minute. That's USF. I mean, if you didn't
at
know
that, how
much
white.
snow fell
Yeah.
that day,
Yeah.
of course USF being up there in the north part of town, and in '77
That's
there
a
wasn't
really
quite
cool
as
picture.
much, weren't quite as many buildings, wasn't quite as much cement, so we didn't have that radiation heating, all
Yeah.
that nonsense. I mean, it got cold up here. Look at how much snow's on the ground.
It's a lot.
That's the campus of USF.
Yep.
Where all the buildings.
Everything's white.
How about that? Hey,
That's
we've
a lot-
got 2 callers,
That's
guys.
a lot of snow.
Let's go ahead and take these callers, and we'll
do it.
work our stories in.
Okay,
because
we
we've
will.
got stories also and pictures.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Caller.
Hello, I can hear you. Hey, it's AJ.
Hi,
Hi,
AJ. How
AJ.
are
Hello.
you?
Good, haven't seen you guys since the flavor.
Yes,
know.
it's the flavor. We're giving away one of the shirts tonight. You might have seen that in the opening. And AJ,
I did.
if I'm not mistaken, is this your first time calling?
Yes, Yes, ring a
Yes.
bell.
There
Welcome.
it is. Look at our viewers know us so well.
She's on it.
We love you guys.
I had to call to relay a very hilarious story.
Please.
Okay.
Father-in-law always was the kind that would, well, he still is, but whenever it snowed, he wanted to run to Gatlinburg to go to take us to see the snow. So
Sure.
my husband and I had gotten married in August. We lived in this little house in Drew Park, no air conditioned, but the day before, my father-in-law installed one of those wall units so we could have heat. And the next morning, very early in the morning, we get a phone call. It's snowing, it's snowing. My father-in-law was all excited. I proceeded to call my mother, and she called one of her friends. Her friend, because it was early in the morning, she fell and tripped and busted her nose.
Oh no! Face plant in the snow?
Yes, but fast forward a few years later, her daughter ended up dating my brother-in-law and getting married, and she, to this day, says, "Richard, you're the reason I broke my nose."
Oh my!
It was funny.
It was
No,
fun.
absolutely. Listen. We did not know what to do with ourselves on that day, AJ. And remember, I promised I wasn't going to talk too much today. But
Good luck on that one.
yeah, good luck. But we did not know what to do with ourselves. And to be honest with you, neither did a lot of the drivers, because there were record numbers of single car accidents,
Yeah.
people just arrebatados, doing
Something
donuts
new.
on the overpasses, which were frozen.
Yeah.
My mother worked in the offices for HCC on Davis Island, and they couldn't
Oh,
go
wow.
to work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and schools were closed, and no. We expected
Yeah.
tonight we're going to get a lot of different calls, but that's a great story, and it wasn't great in the fact that somebody got hurt, face plant. Pero
Those funny things that,
Oh, yeah.
you know, Tampa's a small town story, because then years later, this lady ended up being in the same family. So
well,
Oh, wow.
that's what Steve is finding out that he's related to. You know, we tease him about being Tampa Steve, but he really is, because he's related to half of Tampa.
Yeah, he is.
It amazes me, really. I mean,
It
He's
amazes
just finding
us,
those
too.
things
The
out.
other day I found out.
AJ, give us your bolita drawing number.
let's pick 27.
Excellent number,
27.
27. Somebody's going to be upset. No, because she changed her number this year.
Yeah,
Rose
she
changed
did.
her number
That's right,
53,
that's right.
and she won last week with that. Also, did you hear about the bonus question for that Sweet Bay flavor shirt?
Yes.
Do you have an answer for us?
Shirt. I don't need a shirt, but I know probably what number it is, just because
No, it's not. Oh, you know the store
the
number.
store number.
If you know, then don't say, because if you already have the shirt, we'll give it to
I
somebody.
have the shirt.
Okay. Don't say, because you're on live.
You
Text
wore
me.
the
I have my phone here on the set. Text me, and I'll get the number to see if you really did know the number, and I bet you do.
Okay.
How
Well,
does
listen.
Thank
Okay.
you,
Thanks
AJ.
for calling.
Thanks for calling. We love you, and we appreciate you calling.
We do.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, speaking of Bolita numbers, we have
Yes.
two more.
Oh, great,
Joe
man.
and Keitha, 3 and 7
3 and
respectively.
7.
3 and 7. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and go to line 4.
Let's do it.
And then when we come back, we'll tell our
We'll
stories.
tell our stories.
It's amazing how much snow fell. Look at this.
I know.
There's
Look
an
how-
inch of
look how
snow
thick
on the
it
roof
is.
of that
Absolutely.
vehicle.
Yeah,
and you
that
can
is a
see
lot.
right there where he's,
Scraping it off.
Scraping away. Phone numbers again. We've got a line open. 813-977-6800.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, this is Glenn from Lutz.
Hey, Glenn.
Glenn from
Glenn,
Lutz.
hi.
Glenn from Lutz. Glenn
First time
from-
caller?
Say again?
First time caller?
Second time.
That's
Second
right.
time.
No, I saw the last name, and I remember there was
Oh,
a couple
yes,
of
yes,
consonants
yes.
and a couple of vowels in there,
Very
and those two
unusual.
consonants at the beginning. Yes.
Very good job spelling it there on the screen. So, I think I was in the 7th grade when this happened. I remember we didn't have that much snow on the ground or anything like that, but we had it in the car, just like on that picture there.
Yes.
Though it seems like it's thicker on that car than I remember it being. And my dad scraped it up off the car windshield and made a snowball out of it. And then we kept it in the freezer for years and years. It probably became an ice ball over time, but we thought it was snow the whole time. And then eventually our freezer went bad one time, and we lost our snowball.
Oh no! And you know when the
bad.
freezer went bad, the first thing the shout out that you made was the snowball.
Yeah.
Exactly, we were disappointed. We looked in the back of the freezer where we kept it, and like there was just the tin foil or whatever it was.
Oh,
you know.
no!
That's sad.
That's like Frosty, man, in the cartoon
Uh-huh.
when
He
Frosty
melted.
melts, you get sad.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how
A lot of
that's
people
how we
did
thought
that.
about it. And I think I remember too wondering if the bus was going to come. We had a
Sure, school.
and I think the bus came, although I'm not sure. So I think I was like, oh, we had to go to school, but we had at least a chance to get the
Yeah.
snowball.
Yeah, no, that's
Great
great. Thanks for
story.
sharing that story with us. That's another wonderful story and part of what makes our history
Yes.
so grand. It was one day and one day only,
Yeah.
and everybody's impactful. Everybody remembers exactly what they were doing. Your Bolita number, Glenn?
Do you have 29?
29
Yes, we
is
do.
available. And the
Yep.
bonus question tonight, I don't know if you heard it at the top of the show. Do you have an answer for that?
No, I don't have an answer for that, unfortunately.
Okay, no
Okay.
worries. No worries. But
Right,
listen,
thanks.
thanks so much for calling. We appreciate you being out there each week. We know you're watching.
All right, awesome. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Have a
Glenn.
great day.
Take
Thank you, Glenn. That's cool.
You know, and that was a long time ago when it snowed, and we still have those precise memories of every little detail.
Precise.
I mean,
Okay, Steve, we got a caller, but let's go ahead and
Let's
do
do it.
our memories first. Let's go ahead
Okay.
and do our memories
Let's do it.
first. And if you want to bring up my pictures, I'll go first. I think I
Yeah.
was first in order
Picture
this
number
time.
3.
Picture number 3.
There it is.
Okay. Check.
four.
Oh, is it picture number
That's-
4?
that's 4.
Of course, there's no self-respecting young athlete who grew up in Florida who was a fan of playing football who wouldn't take this day to at least throw a couple of passes, which we did. My buddy Lou Garcia and I went across the street. We got in our gear. And of course, back then, it was very cool if you wore your phys ed shorts, which you had to purchase for junior high and high school if you dressed out, over your sweatpants. It was very good. But I don't know why I have my hand in proper position right in front of my face. I was throwing the ball. But look at the snow on the ground.
Obviously, you
This
didn't
is
know there was a camera
probably
pointed at you.
Yes, I would have stopped and smudged.
Absolutely.
This is probably around 9:30, 10 o'clock already. It's starting to kind of melt a little bit, but that's quite a bit of snow. And in the next picture, you can
Yes.
see in my backyard, I took it upon
2
myself to
balls.
make, 2 balls. All right, I got 2 balls.
Those are
anyway,
official
anyway, 2
snowballs.
snowballs. We probably put one of those. We probably did
Yeah,
what
you
Glenn
probably
did. We
did.
probably put a
Yeah.
snowball in the freezer as well. I got my Jefferson leather jacket on. But anyway, what a memorable moment. If you look in the backyard, the other house behind us, you see the clothesline, you see the kerosene
Yes,
heater,
for the heat,
tank.
for the
how many of us grew
oil.
up
We had those.
with that?
Yep.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
we did.
I
Most
did.
most of us share that wonderful memory.
Another
And
thing gone.
It was just Tampa the way it was, the way she used to be.
That was great.
Stevie, what about you?
But we had a great time. I was actually in class, Hillsborough High School.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that morning going to school, and you're right, the traffic was a mess. But it was pretty orderly. Everyone was in class. All of a sudden, there was a rumor that went around, spread like wildfire, that, hey, everybody's out on the football field right now playing in the snow. So people just kind of rushed out of their classrooms in big groups. And here's the football field as you're seeing now. This is the track and football field. But everyone went out to the football field, and they were throwing snowballs at each other, building little mini
First
snowmen.
time ever for some of us.
Well, what happened was, as we were walking through the hallways to go out to the football field, as we passed through some of the classrooms, the doors would be open. We'd see like 2 or 3 students in each classroom, just studying. They
Yeah.
were like, I guess the bookworms wanted.
They didn't get the message.
They didn't get the
or-
memo, we didn't have email back then, so they didn't.
That
get
would
the
not have been
memo.
me.
But so anyway, here's the great part though. So 90% of the schools out on the football field throwing snowballs at each other. Out comes the principal with a big bullhorn, the megaphone, and what he does, he's trying to get everybody back in the class. No one's listening to him. Finally, they start throwing snowballs
At him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
perfect.
Yeah,
That's
he
lovely.
had to retreat back into the building for safety, and
That's
and
perfect.
that wore off after about
And
an
that was
hour.
a special
And
memory
his
for
pride
him,
as
too.
well. And the next picture here from
remembers that, too.
Hillsborough High as well, the very next photograph is the one that Ben Crumpton sent in. And Ben, although he was a junior this year, because he graduated in '78 with you, Stevie, he was
a cool
he was
picture.
interloping, if that's a word.
He was an
He was
interloper?
an interloper in the senior parking lot, because that was the senior parking lot at Hillsborough. So
That's
I
pretty
mean,
cool.
it was. Here's what we have to remember about that day. For some of us, myself, Stevie, you probably as well. That was the first time we'd ever seen snow in our
It was
young
for me.
lives.
Yeah, not me.
So you go Christmas after Christmas. Bring me back in on this one shot, because this is something very serious. I got to look into the camera and give them this emotion. I got to throw some
Gotta
emotion.
give you the feeling.
I got to give you the good stuff here. I mean, year after year we went Frosty the Snowman and Grinch Stole Christmas and Santa Claus coming down the chimney. We didn't have no snow. So how do you relate to Christmas without, I'm dreaming of a white
stuff.
Christmas.
Yeah.
It snowed that day. So for that one day, man, we had to do everything that we could never do.
Had it all.
Sled, throw a snowball, throw a football, go sliding, a day which will live. Stevie?
An
An
infamy.
Attaboy.
That's it.
Hey, we got a
That's
caller
it.
on line 5. Let's go to
grab it.
line 5 and see who's there.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Caller?
Caller, you there?
Yes.
Hi, caller. Turn down your TV, talk to us directly on the telephone, and tell us who we're talking to.
You're talking to Nina Canella.
Oh,
Nina
it's
Canella.
my Aunt Nina.
Aunt Nina.
Hi, Aunt Nina.
Aunt
How
Nina.
are you?
I'm fine.
Hey, thanks for calling in, Aunt Nina.
Oh,
Let me let everybody know I was at Aunt Nina's and Uncle Gene's house last Saturday, and for spaghetti.
Sure.
For lunch.
How nice.
And we went through a lot of the photos. My Uncle Gene helped me identify some of the people.
hello. I just wanted to tell you all that I've been watching you all for a very long time, And I just want to tell you how wonderful the show is. It's gotten so much better.
It has. Thank you.
We
Thank you.
really enjoyed. I
That's
leave
nice.
the dishes just so I can watch you all.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you
That's
so much. We
sweet.
appreciate that. We know
Yeah.
that there are a lot of folks out there watching us, and we hope enjoying us as well. When Steve told us this week that you had such complimentary things to say, it really warmed our heart. We appreciate it. We
Yes,
thank you for that.
We do.
Yes, I think it's great. And I really enjoy watching you all often.
Well, we're having a
Good.
blast. Thanks for tuning in. Did you want to give us a Bolita drawing number tonight?
It looks like you all are having fun.
We are. We always
We
have
are.
fun. We do.
Did you have a Bolita drawing number for us, Aunt Nina? You can.
Yes, I told Stephen that I would name my grandmother's favorite number, which was 16.
16.
you
Okay,
got it.
you
We've
got
got you
it.
down for 16. Thank you so much again for your wonderful call.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Aunt Nina.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You know, she mentioned that.
That's sweet.
She
That
sounds
is
very
sweet.
nice.
25 cents for the old Bolita numbers for the number 16. That her
Okay.
grandmother would
And I
pay
wonder what the
25 cents.
16 number represented. Probably
Yeah.
spider.
Probably
or
that chart, you know. With
Yeah,
this-
no.
Yeah.
Dan, send us an email. Send us an email. I know you have it out there. You're probably looking at it right now.
Well, you
send us
know.
an email. Let us know what 16 represents.
Well, I never got to finish what I was going to tell
I
you.
know.
Okay.
Mention
Well,
Aunt
tell
Nina,
the
but-
Aunt Nina story.
Yeah. What happened was I went to Aunt Nina's and my Uncle Gene's last week to
Sure.
go over these photos here, basically. We had a reunion, family reunion in 1966. And I knew most of the people here, but not all of them. So my Uncle Gene was able to identify all of them. I wrote them all down. And we'll have to do a show later on in the year and maybe show some Laurie Park pictures again. And we'll bring those up and you can see them. But had a wonderful time, though.
Good.
And again, you discovered in
very
that
sweet.
photograph that there are people that.
Oh, I sure did.
That, again, the expanse of your family,
Yeah.
the
Everywhere we go,
cousins and the-
Steve's related to someone. That's about
branch-
how it's working.
We
The
call
roots
him
go
Tampa
deep.
Steve
They
with
really
love
do.
and affection, but
Yeah.
there's more truth to it than rumor.
Yeah,
and I mean,
no.
there's more truth to it than fact than fiction.
But I tell you
Yeah.
what, it amazes me more than anyone, actually. I'm like, wow, like Marilyn Messina last week. I
Yes.
couldn't believe it.
Well,
Yeah.
what's cool about that too is you're tied to the soil here, brother, and you're tied to the story, and your history is real deep, and it's something to be prideful about.
Oh, by the way, I sent Marilyn this picture, and she said she was related to one of the my
Oh,
cousins
really?
in the picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
That's
incredible.
That's the beauty of our
That's the beauty of the Tampa
city
Native
and
Show.
our history. Two lines are open for callers out there that have never called. This will be a wonderful time to call in, be a first-time caller. We love to hear from our first-time callers. 813-977-6800. Don't be bashful. Don't be shy. We don't bite very hard.
Sometimes.
But call us and tell us what you were doing that morning, that wonderful morning that it snowed here in Tampa, 1977. Darling, were you here?
I was not here. I was living and working in downtown Orlando for
Mm-hmm.
a photography studio, and I do remember the day, though. And it was snowing, and it was, we didn't get quite as much snow as Tampa did, but we did see snow.
It was an historic day.
It was, yeah.
It was
fun.
the kind of, I mean, when you hear it, okay, I digress. I used to put outside, when it was going to be freezing, but there was no chance of precipitation, I'd want to see how cold it would get, so I bet you did the same thing, Stevie.
Try to freeze
I'd put a little saucer, a little cup, coffee cup saucer
yeah,
of
we would do
water outside
That's right.
on the little caja where they delivered the milk. The milkman delivered the milk. And then I'd check it real early in the morning to see if it froze, to see if it actually, does water
forgot
freeze at
about
32?
that.
Does water? I don't know. Does water, it never gets cold enough for us to.
We'll just have to try that experiment again.
Maybe this week.
So when it
Who's
snowed.
that picture?
These,
Do we know?
Now this is from the USF collection, is it not, Steve?
No, this is actually from Dan Perez's website. Actually, I pulled these off of the Facebook page. the
Okay,
Facebook
tell us
group.
about that.
And it's like three people getting ready to throw a snowball at somebody, the cameraman apparently.
It's cool, though, because you can
But-
see the snow actually falling.
Falling, the snow was
Yeah.
falling.
Now I don't know who the people are. If anyone's watching and they happen to recognize anyone in the photos, please call
Let
in.
us know.
Call
who
us up
you
and let
are,
us know.
yeah.
We'd love to know.
Absolutely.
Any emails come in, Steve, in the interim?
Not really. We had Joe Beanies and we do have Angelo Ramori. He did come through.
I was just going to say.
Number 16.
There's
Number
Angelo.
oh,
Oh,
he
16
missed
was
it.
taken. Angelo.
Oh, darn.
Angelo,
Number
quick.
16 is the bull he wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the bull.
Oh, the bull.
And you know what? Oh, that's and Dan Perez 16 El Toro.
El Toro.
El Toro.
Okay.
So it's not just bully numbers. It's the actual,
Should we
yeah.
give Angelo?
Well, Angelo was just letting us know.
Exactly.
Did he leave a Bolita number for himself?
But
though?
no, he didn't.
Angelo.
Oh.
Angelo, go ahead and send him one
Those
back.
pictures were cool for a couple of reasons. It showed the action. It showed the snow falling.
Yeah.
But it also showed at what time these kids must have been roused out of their sleep
Yeah.
because
great
it's
photo.
dark. The sun is
snowing,
nowhere near
yeah.
being up. So this is probably 6 in the morning, 6:30 maybe. That's pretty cool.
When it was
Hey, you got an
early.
email there. Stevie, I'll take this one.
Let's go.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, Mario. This is Debbie Rummel from Spring Hill.
Hey,
Hi,
Debbie.
Debbie.
Debbie, first time caller.
No, you know that.
I know. I just wanted to ring the bell. Look at me. I'm excited. How are you, Deb? Thanks for sending those pictures
Yeah,
in. You
those
and
are
Lou.
great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hi, Steve. Hi,
Hey.
Sally.
Hi, Deb.
How are you? Good seeing you.
Tell us.
Good,
Tell us.
good.
Tell us what you were
I
doing
called
that
to tell
day.
you our story about our pictures.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to show them right now.
We're
or
going to
not.
show them right now. Stevie, call those
Yeah, let's
numbers
bring
out.
those up. Those are number 13 and 14.
Start with 13, and Debbie, you can give us. We'll get out of there, and you can give us the little.
Well, I can't see the TV, so you got to tell me. Is number 13 with just Lou and I?
It's just you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just you and Lou.
Kneeling down.
Absolutely.
And your snowman.
That's Lou and I with our fancy snowman we built.
He
Uh-huh.
was
And
cute.
I have a couple of little stories about it. That day, we lived in Lutz. We'd been married about 5 months. Of course, you know, I was born and raised in Lutz.
Yes.
And
Yep.
so I had never seen snow. Lutz never seen snow. Well, he might have when he was a little kid, but nobody else in my family had seen snow. And my mom just was dying to see snow. And we have family who live in Georgia, and they kept calling every day the week before saying, it's going to snow, it's going to snow. So she actually drove to Georgia to see snow, and it didn't snow.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
How funny.
Thing, she missed it. And I worked for Winn-Dixie, and all day we're telling all the customers, it's going to snow, it's going to snow. So the next morning, we got up before daylight, waiting for the snow, waiting to see the snow. And as soon as it got light enough, we started taking pictures, and we took some of the car and things like that. And then we jumped on our Honda 360 motorcycle and ran over to the park in Lutz, there in Nye Park, and drove around and played for a while. Then we went to my dad's, but by that time, which was right down the street, most of the snow had gone off of the grass, which you can see in the background. There's really none there.
Yeah.
My dad was the manager of Mary Acres Farms. It's like a 360-acre ranch there in Lutz on Simmons Road.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
So we got up. We lived in a two-story house, so we went upstairs to my old bedroom and crawled out the window to the second story of the house
Oh, collected snow.
and scraped up all
All the
funny.
snow on the roof.
How funny. I love that snowman. He's really good.
To build our snowman, and the people who owned the property there was Mr. Bars and Mr. Van Dyke, W.L. Van Dyke.
Oh,
Dyke,
okay.
sure,
Yeah,
Van Dyke
Van Dyke
President of
Road.
Have a Tampa Cigar Company. And
Sure,
Yeah.
Van Dyke Road.
wife of me right now, I can't remember what, Carrington Bars was the other owner. His wife was Mr. Van Dyke's sister. So,
Okay.
and the next picture, is my sister and a good friend of ours that lived down the street, Cindy Eccles, and Buzz Bars, who is Mr. Van Dyke's nephew, was Carrington Bars' son.
Yeah.
He was his youngest son there. And, of course, me, my sister Vicky.
Well,
You
when
did a really good job
You did
with
a
the
great job with the
snowman.
snowman.
I
And
love
when,
him.
When
He's
Steve
really
and I
cute.
saw the picture,
Yeah.
and we chuckled because the first thing that logic would tell you is, hey man, where'd they get the snow? Because
Yeah.
if you look at the background,
you can't
there's
tell.
no snow,
I know.
just like you said.
That's
so
odd,
now
yeah.
we know the mystery. Now we know, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the
rest of
story.
the story.
Right. We know now that
Exactly.
you crawled out the window to scrape it off the roof.
Yeah.
Yep, we did, because we had to get enough snow because we spent too long running around playing on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
What a great
And
story.
my little brother, he went to school that day. Like Steve was saying, they went to school and played out on the field.
Sure.
My little brother went to school. He wouldn't stay home because he just knew they were going to get to go play in the sno all day. He didn't let him go outside at all.
Oh.
He lost out too there. But
Oh my, oh my.
he gathered up some ketchup for a red nose and
How
some
cute.
orange tree limbs for his arms, and every year we pull those pictures out on January 19th.
Sure.
Oh,
that's
that's
great.
beautiful that we still
You're lucky
celebrate.
that you have
Wonderful.
them.
Yeah,
I don't have any
that is
pictures
pretty
like
terrific.
that.
Yeah, we love them.
Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie, so much for your call. Now, listen, give us a Bolita number.
25.
25 it is. And
25.
were you with us at the top of the show? Did you remember the bonus questions?
I remember the questions, but I don't remember what it was that you eat unless it's
You could take a guess. I mean,
Sandwiches.
you might get lucky.
two sandwiches.
No.
No.
Yeah, I can think of.
No, it's a treat, but that's okay. That's okay. Next caller, maybe next caller. Thank you, Debbie. Say
Thanks
hello to
for
Lou for us.
calling.
Bye, Debbie. Thank
All
you.
right, we will. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
sweetie. Bye-bye.
That's awfully close.
Lou
We
and
had
Debbie Rummel. This
24, number 24 for Angelo.
Oh, okay.
They're all bunching up there. So if somebody knows how to play this game,
Exactly.
there's a strategy here, boys and girls.
And it's the pigeon, number 24.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the other was the bull. So
Got 2 lines open.
One of
Hey,
them was a
if you've never
shell,
called
too.
before, this might be a good time to call. Tell us what you were doing January 19th, 1977, the day that it snowed in Tampa. We all know what we were doing, and we want to hear from you.
We have an email from Marilyn Messina.
Oh, okay,
good.
very good.
And along with that, we have her Belita number. Let's write that down real quick.
Okay.
It's, hers is 41, and Anthony's is number
41.
7. Oh, wait, 7's taken, right?
7's taken.
Is 7 taken?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
because
Keitha
that's right.
at
Marilyn, if you
41.
can, give us another number for Anthony, okay?
Very good.
And anyway, let's see what she wrote. Okay, Marilyn writes, our kids were 3 and 6 years old the day it snowed. They got up in the morning and we went bonkers to see snow.
Of course.
They ran outside, made ping pong sized snowballs for a snow fight. Then they sat back on the patio sipping hot chocolate and munching on Krispy Kreme donuts. That sounds really good.
Oh, that
man.
sounds good.
All the
Some of
while
that's
singing, and while they were doing that, they were singing Frosty the Snowman too.
How cute.
But a scary thing happened that involved her husband. He was a professor at USF at the time.
Okay.
And he was wondering where all the traffic was that morning. He drove over the Bush overpass and hit a patch of ice, went into a 360-degree spin,
Which
like we were
everybody
talking
did.
about.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
And had other cars been on the road at the time, it would have been all over for him, she writes.
Oh.
But
Wow.
wow, it's scary.
That is scary.
Very scary.
I was outside in the front yard, you
Yeah.
know, and when those pictures were being taken. I mean, throwing the football across the street, right? Just
Yeah.
in the same direction where I'm facing in that photograph is I-275 there, right at the lowest entrance ramp. That's where I kind of grew up. My parents' home was still there. And you could hear,
A lot of that.
boom,
That's scary. I did that one
boom,
time. Just
cars
with
just
rain.
spinning out
Yeah.
and hitting the guardrail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hitting the guardrail.
You would wait for the boom sound.
Yeah, you'd wait for it because you knew it was coming. So yeah, and we didn't know how to drive in that, and we didn't know. I didn't find this out until I lived in Texas. For the time that I lived in Texas, that the most treacherous parts of the roadway are the overpasses.
Yeah.
Because there's cold underneath and there's cold at top, so any moisture that hits it is going to freeze. Where when it's the highway itself, it's usually on the ground, underneath, so that it stays a little bit warmer, which in some cases can be the difference between a dangerous, treacherous situation and a manageable one. This is these were pictures also submitted by USF Library.
This was no. We've already played all those.
This is off
We
of
showed
Dan-
those.
Dan Perez's
These are-
Tampa
yes,
Picks?
they sure are, and also the Facebook group
Looks like
Tampa
a
Natives.
school or
Facebook.
something.
I think it's a day school. Is that
Yeah,
what? Is that
look,
what?
It
there's
is.
Donald Duck.
Yeah, it's a preschool or daycare, and someone dropping off their child, and with the door open, they took a good snapshot of the
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
And
a
there's
lot of
couple,
snow
There's a
right
couple of
there.
other pictures. There's a lot of snow on the ground there. There's a couple of other pictures taken in this series of pictures. And one of them shows Furman Chevrolet. There it is. That's kind of cool, too. It's a car lot that we haven't seen in a good little while. Furman Chevrolet. And look at those old cars. Stevie, what's that car right there in the middle?
You know what that is? That's a Cutlass Supreme.
Yeah,
And that was one of my-
1977 Cutlass
one of
Supreme.
my favorite models.
That
I love-
was a cool car
Wasn't it,
back
though?
then, man.
We talked about it too the other day. The
Yeah,
doors, they
that
were
was-
2-door, and they weighed about a ton.
There were
each
2
door.
doors, but it took 3 people to close it. That was an
Yeah.
amazing.
And
But what a
don't-
great car.
Don't slam your finger in the door.
No.
No.
813-977-6800. Lines are open.
me to
Callers,
read it?
call
Yeah.
us now. That's
We
downtown
have-
Tampa.
We have an email.
We have an email
from
and email.
Stephanie Arguda McKenzie.
Oh, wonderful. Stephanie, let's go ahead. You want to read that, darling?
It says, don't have any photos, sorry. I was living in a second-story apartment building in Temple Terrace, looked out the window that morning and was shocked to see snow. Watched my across-the-street neighbor walk out to his car and start brushing snow off the windshield and trying to scrape ice. He walked back inside, and in about 10 minutes later, he walks out with a steaming tea kettle. Proceed to pour it on the windshield. You guessed the rest.
no.
I had lived in Denver, Colorado previously when
That's
I
a
was
great
little and
story.
knew that steaming
Oh,
tea kettle
no.
was not what to do for ice on the windshield.
Oh,
I remember I couldn't go to work as I heard the interstate was closed. They were serious too there.
Oh.
Yeah, I tried anyway.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Stephanie, great,
Yeah.
great story. Thanks for sharing that with us. Did she give us a Bolita number?
Yeah, we do. We have. Well, no, not this.
No,
This is an old post on
That's
Facebook.
from
Ah,
6
okay.
months
6 months
ago.
ago.
Oh, sorry.
But did you get a new email?
We sure did. This is from for Anthony.
Okay.
Messina. It's number 9.
9.
If that's gone, is it gone?
No.
Okay, we're good.
There
Number
you
9.
go. There you go. Wonderful. All right. The show is rapidly
Like they all do.
advancing. We're
Zip,
at
zip,
37 minutes, 38
Man.
minutes
Wow.
past the hour. So
Yeah.
get your calls in, get your Bolita numbers in. You can't win unless you get in.
Hey, do you think it's going to snow again?
we're about to. It's
I
been,
don't
what,
know,
36
you know,
Yeah, we're
It
due.
wouldn't surprise me.
We're
Those
overdue.
people that were born,
Yeah.
and another factoid that I didn't mention at the top of the show, or at least that Italian fellow that did the opening of the show didn't
was that
mention.
guy?
Who was that guy anyway? January 1977, that very same day, another little interesting thing that
Tidbit.
happened was then President Gerald Ford, as one of his last acts as a president before leaving office, pardoned then infamous Tokyo Rose for her acts of treason during World War II. Is that correct? Or during the
Interesting.
Vietnam War? Somebody help me?
No, I think it was World War II.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come in
Tokyo
Tokyo.
Rose,
Come
yeah.
in Tokyo. So somebody straighten me up on that.
I'm
send
pretty
me,
sure
What are you laughing
that's-
at, Steve? Somebody send me the information on that. But we
Yeah,
got a
that was
caller
great.
on the line, and we'll go to the caller now because we've got some wonderful facts to share with you guys and
Factoids.
upcoming events too that we want to make sure you
we
guys
do.
are aware of. Steve?
Yes.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Caller, are you there?
My name is Brian. I'm calling from Carrollwood.
Hey, Brian
Well,
from
great.
Carroll.
Brian
Brian.
from Carrollwood. Brian, go ahead and turn down your TV. Talk to us directly on the phone so that little 7-second delay doesn't get you. Brian, is this your first time calling?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, there you
Well-
go, Brian. That one's for you. Brian, tell us, did you grow up here in Tampa?
Yeah, I did. Basically, my whole life, my whole family's from here.
Can we get your last name for reference?
Yeah, it's Junta, G-I-U.
Well, that's not a name that we're familiar with, Brian, the Junta name. They haven't been in Tampa very long, have
Oh,
Oh, they've been in Tampa since the early 1900s.
they? You can't tell the sarcasm
He's
in my
kidding
voice.
with you, Brian.
It's dripping off of my face, but if you're not looking at the TV right now, I understand.
Yeah.
No, that's a name that is not only known here in Tampa, it's very well known
Cash
in
and carry
Tampa. It's a
name.
very well respected name, and it's a name that has something to do with cash and carry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was my grandfather's brother.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Much props to the Junta family. I was being kind of facetious. I'm sorry that
He does
it was
that a
lost
lot.
on you. I was kind of having fun.
I wasn't listening at the TV. No, I'm just calling in because I remember that my parents told me it snowed in Tampa when I was a little baby, and that was back
Yeah.
around 1977.
Yeah.
And it's just good to see that there's a program on that preserves the history of Tampa like that.
Oh, well, thank
Oh,
you,
thank you
Brian.
for that.
Thank
We
you.
really, really appreciate that. We take our job seriously
Yes,
here
we
on the
do.
Tampa Native Show. We're very respectful and prideful of the fact that we're from Tampa, and we know that stories like your family's story need to be told and need to be recorded so that, after we're not here anymore, they can still
go
go back
on.
and
Yeah.
they can read it, certainly. They can see the Burgert Brother pictures. This is a little different format, a different way to receive that information. So thanks for those kind words. We really appreciate
We
it.
do.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, thank you for your program. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
you
Can
for
we get your
calling.
Bolita number?
Uh,
1 to 75,
75.
your lucky number.
let's go with 77.
7?
Oh, that's a little bit, we're off the chart. 1 to 75, keep it in that range.
All right, I go with 46.
You got it.
46.
46 is up. That's Brian Junta.
Yes, it is.
Brian, thank you again for
Thank
those
you.
kind words. And hey, we're here every Thursday, man. So if something that we're talking about interests you and you want to call in, we're here for you.
Oh, yes, sir. I will. I'll call back again.
thanks
Thank
for
you,
watching.
buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Happy
right,
New
you
Year.
all
Bye
have-
bye.
Care.
Thank you. That's nice.
That's
man.
great.
nice.
Oh, we should have
Yeah.
asked him how long he's been watching the show. I didn't think of it.
A little while, maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
I bet she's been
He'll
watching
call
for a
again.
little bit.
Yeah.
Brian, thanks again. And if you want to send that email in, Steve's curious
Yeah.
to know
Yeah, let us know.
maybe
How
how you
long?
found us and how long you've been watching us.
There you go.
That graphic behind us there, that's the one that Dan Perez
Bright.
created for
Yeah.
us. Yeah, it's super bright.
He's
But
amazing.
look at Dan, man. Tampa, not Tampa Bay. Look at Dan.
And he loves this
He's
stuff.
very
too.
talented, Dan
We can't
Perez.
get him out of his house, but if we could ever get him out of his house and bring him into the studio
Yeah.
with us, you'd love him too. Dan's a great guy, and he's talented.
Many,
plus.
many different ways.
Yeah, no. And this would be a good time for us to mention his website in case we haven't mentioned it already 4 times on the
Right.
show. TampaPix.com. TampaPix.com.
Yeah.
Dan spends
Go ahead.
a great deal of his time, love and affection, working on that page. And I'm telling you, we frequent that page often to get information, and I never get bored. There's so much
Yeah,
there.
there are so
There's
many
much. So
pictures,
do
yeah.
yourself a favor, TampaPix.com, especially if you're fond of all things Tampa. Steven?
Right. Well, it's a labor of love for Dan, and it's a huge resource. But also, you can get there by going to TampaNativeShow.com, scroll down to the bottom, and we have a link to
Yeah.
Tampa Picks there also.
What else do we have on the bottom of that page?
Well, you know what? We have all of our Facebook pages.
Yeah, we have a bunch
So,
of them.
Yeah, be sure to like those. Go to TampaNativeShow.com, scroll to the bottom
Yes.
again. Just below Dan Perez's link, you'll see our Facebook pages. But, how about this?
Go ahead.
We just added, the IT department just added
That would be Steve.
our story, how the whole
That's cool.
The whole Facebook Tampa Native Show
Came to be.
phenomenon, began, and as it starts, it began as an experiment, turned into a social phenomenon, And the story's right there. So go to TampaNativeShow.com, click on our story at the very top. You'll see that. And you can read the whole story. It's interesting.
It's a good story.
It's interesting. It's very well written by Mr. Paul Guzzo, who wrote the article for Cigar City Magazine.
Right. Very well
We
written.
appeared on the cover of that magazine. That photograph is there as well. And to buttress what Steve was saying, it's a good thing that the experiment didn't go awry. Because this could have been like a Dr. Jekyll and Hyde story here. You know, I've never described it as an experiment.
It's a growing experiment.
But it certainly, that article is the genesis of how the show began, how Steve and I met, how Steve created the Facebook page, which ultimately led to the TV show. So if you haven't read it before, very well written by Paul Guzzo, and you should kind of check that out. Also, let me just throw out there for those of you that may not frequent our page, on the bottom there, you're going to see those little icons. Click on those. But when you go to the page, it's not enough just to go to the page, for those of you that may not be familiar with the Facebook formatting, to write in the comment section, I like this. Because it's good that you do.
Yeah.
But there's a gigantic button there that says like.
With a little check mark on it.
Yeah, with a check. Click that. And when you see it turn into the word liked, past tense, that means that you have liked it.
You've liked us.
And that shows our numbers growing.
Yeah.
And we've got to keep pace with Dan Perez. We love Dan. Dan's our man.
Yeah.
But his Tampa Natives page, which is really our page, we've just kind of given it to him and said, Danny, run with this, baby, is outpacing our page. And I don't know what he's doing lately, if he's standing on the corner waving a sign or if he's offering people a reward, but his numbers have almost grown to 2,000.
I think it's all the pictures on it.
Yeah. No, Dan's just masterful at what he does. So he's got everybody excited and going to his page.
Yeah.
And they're coming in 2s and 3s now. So if you like the Tampa Natives page, be sure you like the Tampa Natives show page as well.
And Little Peeps page, and 15-Minute Girl page, and
Ooh, we've got
Dory.
2 callers.
Dory
And look,
Tampa Steve.
and if you'll look up, I don't want to give the 15-minute girl her cue, but
I was just going to say that. We're at the 15-minute mark, and the show's flying by as usual. So let's take it away.
that 15-minute girl got us again.
And speaking of Dan Perez,
He's on.
he writes.
Caller, stand by.
Is he on? Okay. No, he writes. My head won't fit through the door now.
There it is.
Okay.
Attaboy,
Good.
Danny.
Then
Caller,
then
you're
we've
on
done
the
our
air.
job.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Jim from Palmacia.
Hey, there he is. Hi,
Super.
Jim.
Hey, Jim.
How you guys doing tonight?
Great.
Doing good. The hour's flying by. We got some great
Like
stories
crazy.
that people are sharing with us. You got one for us?
15-minute warning, eh?
Yeah,
Yes.
she just got us.
Hey, I was up in Auburn, Alabama during my freshman year of college when the big snow hit. And as I told you guys on email, I believe,
Sure.
we had 4 inches of snow up there and called and said, man, we got 4 inches of snow in Auburn. They said, big deal. We got 3/4 of an inch down here. Paralyzed the city. I said, you got to be kidding
It
me.
really
Yeah.
did. It really did.
That
People
kind
were-
of topped your story, didn't it?
People were sent home from school. You know, the kids were sent home from school. It was just one of those deals. And
Yeah.
what a better day to get a snow day. I mean, a day off from school, huh? It snowed.
Absolutely. My friend, our good friend Mario, who played Pony League ball with us, with you all anyway, John Thornton and I, we literally wanted to hop in the car and come down and see it in Tampa. Snow in Auburn was, okay, but to see it in Tampa, it would have melted by the time we'd made it an 8-hour drive. But we were pledges in a fraternity, and the log was Thornton. And I remember we had a snowball fight up there, but you guys must have had a big one. We had snow here. Was it 3 or 4 winters ago? A little bit further north. How
Flurries, probably flurries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brooksville's always considerably cooler than it is here, maybe 5-7 degrees.
Right.
So if the line sometimes gets that far south and there's enough moisture in the air, then Brooksville always gets it. And growing up, we always knew that Brooksville was cold.
Yes.
Colder than Tampa. I think the water here kind of insulates us a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's a shame we couldn't get any of our meteorologists to call in tonight, our current
That would've been
meteorologist.
great.
But I reached out to Dennis Phillips, and he's on vacation in Colorado. And spoiler alert, here it comes. Andy Johnson, who has recently announced his retirement from Fox 13, will be joining us next month. So Andy's coming in to do the show. And a lot of people don't know it, but Andy's family is steeped in history here as well. He's a Tampa native, and his family goes back.
His brother or cousin was assistant state attorney. And
His father was state's attorney back in the 1950s and 60s before he went into private practice. So that's going to be a wonderful
It's
show.
gonna be fun.
Julio, I got to let you go, but before we
Julio.
do, I mean Jim. I'm sorry, Jaime. Jaime.
Jaime Hooper.
Me and
Jaime
Julio down by the
Julio
schoolyard. Jaime, give us your bolita number.
Polita number for tonight will be 58.
58, like it always is. And do you happen to know, were you with us at the top of the show?
I was not. I was finishing up a project in the attic.
We're giving away a second prize tonight, which is a Sweet Bay t-shirt. And I'm holding in my hand the answers to the question. And the question is, Sweet Bay, a.k.a. Cash and Carry, holds dear to Steve and myself for two very good reasons. First of all, Steve's first job was from there. Can you name the store number that he worked in? If you've been watching the show, we've said it.
I've no idea.
Okay, how about this one?
Can't Google it either.
There was no way that we were ever going to leave, my mother and I, from that grocery store, that Cash and Carry grocery store, without my favorite treat.
And your favorite treat was?
That's for you to
Sears
answer.
bar.
No, close.
Wait, are you holding it on the TV right now?
No.
No. This is just a card, but...
Top of the show.
Yep.
All right.
Look at Hooper. All right, Jimmy, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
You're a good man.
All right, man. I'll talk to you guys later. Once again, a rose between two thorns, Sally.
She's beautiful. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Bye-bye. No, between two thorns.
That's what I mean.
Here we go,
Cindy,
line
is it
4.
Cindy Baluha?
We got a few minutes before we get to the drawing. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, Mario. This is Cindy Baluha from West Tampa.
Well, hi,
Hey,
Cindy.
Hi, guys. How are you?
How are
Great,
you?
thank you.
Good.
Oh, it's always such a pleasure to be able to listen to this show on Thursday nights and relive this wonderful city that we live in.
Thank you.
Agreed.
It's always so much fun. But real quickly, I have a great story.
Okay.
Actually, it was the night before, and I think I was about 18 years old. I had my first little job at a little clothing place called the Sportique, which was at Northgate Shopping Center up on North Florida Avenue.
I remember
Sure.
that.
I had closed that night. I was a sales clerk, and I had closed that night after 9, and I went home, and I realized after I had gotten home, and it was probably sometime after probably midnight, that I did not have my Cuban bracelet.
Oh, no.
Christmas, I just got my Cuban, what we so affectionately
Yes.
call our Cuban bracelet.
Yes.
Had my name on it in the white gold double chain. I mean, beautiful bracelet. I realize I don't have it. The only place it can possibly be is possibly in the parking lot of the Northgate.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
So me and my sister, who she lived on the street at the time with her family, I call her and I'm in a panic, and she goes, well, let's just go back to the parking lot because everybody was already gone. Only the salespeople were coming to the car. So we've got the car lights on, and we're looking on the parking lot. And this is now probably sometime after 12:30 at night.
Wow.
And I'm like, Pat, what is this stuff?
Oh.
Is it raining? Is this rain? And my sister's like, Cindy, this is snow flurries.
How weird.
wow.
These
How
are
weird for you
snow
guys.
flurries. And I am like looking at my sister like, yeah, keep looking for my bracelet, okay? You know, snow flurries my butt. So anyway, needless to say, it was snow flurries.
Yeah.
We ended up staying up all night. My nephews lived down the street. As the snow began to fall more and more, probably sometime around 5 or so in the morning, we put tube socks, the affectionately known tube socks, because we didn't own a pair of gloves. We put tube socks on our arms, and we went outside and we played in what we thought was really snow. But what a wonderful memory. Now, needless to say, along with that Cuban bracelet, it was found inside the store.
Oh, good. I was going to ask you if you ever
Inside the
found
store,
it.
and immediately I went to La Trama and had a new lobster claw put
There
on
you
that
go.
bracelet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time I looked down at that bracelet for many, many years, I always remembered the day that it snowed in Tampa.
Oh, that's
Connection.
a cool story.
Yeah, that's a great
The day that
story.
it snowed in
That
Tampa,
is.
because I would look at that bracelet and go, oh, thank God, my bracelet. But it was a great time, and I do remember the people having issues driving, and I
Oh, yeah.
remember my sister and my family who had lived up north for many, many years laughing because
Yeah,
they were
sure.
like, these people don't know how to drive in this little bit of
I know. Hardly anything.
vacation.
It was catastrophic for those of us here. Cindy, give us your Bolita number.
I like number, is 18 taken?
No, I think it's
no,
available.
18 is available.
Oh, great, great.
Yeah.
18 in honor of my daughter, Carla.
Just for you, darling, just for you.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for everything.
Thanks for the great story.
Thank you. Nice
Thanks
story.
for sharing your stories with us. Why?
Giving us that opportunity to walk down the memory lane of this wonderful, wonderful city that we live in.
You got
Thank
it.
you, sweetie. We
Thanks,
appreciate you.
Take care.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Steve, there's time for
3 minutes. 3 minutes till close?
Amazing.
3 minutes till close. Oh, my.
You know what? One more Bolita number.
Quickly.
Edie Courtney Strickland. We probably don't have time to read your email. We'll read it next week, but your lucky number is 14. Is that taken?
14
It's
is
available.
not
Hurry.
taken.
Let me just say, there's a comment line for those of you that are just wanting to tell your stories. It's 813-920, there's on your screen, 2508. 813-920-2508. Call us. Edie, call us. Leave your comment. We'll play it back next week. Real quick. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Charlotte Palmer.
Hi, Charlotte.
We are down, darling, to the last 2.5 minutes of our show. Can we ask you to do us a small favor and call that comment line and leave your story there, because we will definitely play it next week, we promise.
Sure.
We've got some other announcements that we need to get to, but we want to throw your name into your
What's
number
your
into the
Bolita
hat, your
number?
Bolita number.
26.
26. Charlotte, thank you so much for calling. We apologize for having to cut you off. We've got a couple of announcements to make and a Bolita drawing. Hopefully you'll win.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sweetie.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, 2 minutes to go. Let's go ahead and do the Bolita drawing. Stevie, I'll
we
pull
go.
the number out tonight. Baby, you got your numbers there. You ready to
Got
go?
my numbers.
Good luck to all of our callers tonight.
Absolutely.
We hope that you win.
Okay.
And wow, I don't know if we picked this one right on the money, but number 40.
40.
Number 40.
Number 40.
So
Almost
that
in
would
the middle.
be 39,
Oh,
38,
wait.
37.
It's got to be
This is 2.
Glenn.
Is it Glenn?
Glenn.
Glenn.
Yeah.
Santos, is that how you
Yes.
pronounce his name?
Nice.
First
Congratulations,
first
Glenn.
time caller.
Glenn, as happens so often
That
here on the
happens
show.
all the time.
Got
Yeah.
about a
Second
minute
time
and a
call.
half. Let me go ahead and just throw this out there real quick. Bring this up on the one shot. If you can see this, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that know who this might be, this is none other than the champ himself, Muhammad Ali. I had his photographer, his lifelong friend, on one of my flights. I was given this cherished memento that I will keep for all time. Today is the champ's 71st birthday, Muhammad Ali. We like to say happy birthday to the champ. Also, let me say that the three of us will be riding in the night parade. Bring us up on the three shot. The three of us will be riding in the night parade
Can't wait.
with Angelo Ramori. So look for us there. Also, let me say this. Rayzilla's Dreamboats. Ray Villadonga. Rayzilla's Dreamboats will be appearing Tuesday, January 22nd, Curtis Hickson Park. It's a free event.
We'll be
The
there.
three of us will be there. Come look us up. Come say hello. Again, our apologies, Charlotte
Here's some
Palmer, for
great
not being
music.
able to get your story in tonight, darling. Ray is an accomplished musician. It's gonna prove to be an exciting night. Bundle up if it's cold, but just come out there and party with us. Stevie, anything else before we go?
No, well, I think we're
We
out of time.
better zip it up because we got.
How much time we got left? We got 15 seconds
seconds.
left. We
Oh,
got all the
that's
time in the
eternity.
world. Hey, yo! Let me just say, on behalf of Eric Cups, our technical director, without whom we couldn't do this, hello, Dory. Tampa Stefanucci, the 15-minute girl, Mario Nunez, salud, and happy days. We
days.
love you.
Yes,
See
we
you
do.
next week.
Back when we were younger and everything seemed new, we used to have a lot of fun, yes we did, no matter what we do. Sleepy days, long summer nights, going anywhere we please, with love that I could call my own, love that I've always known, the city that I call my home, a home from which I never roam. This love affair was meant to be. I love her and she loves me. I remember Tampa, oh, she remembers me. She remembers me. I remember, yeah, yes I do. Oh, I remember, yeah, me and you. I'm a Tampa native, Tampa native, can't you see? I will share my story with you to preserve its history.
All right now, don't forget, Thursdays, 7 p.m. on TBCN, home of the Tampa Native Show.